Hi, everybody. A very good Wednesday evening to you. It's Region Weather Meteorologist Matt Wintz. Lots to discuss on tonight's Region Weather live show. We're going to talk about the severe weather reports coming in from Northwest Indiana. Are we clear this evening, or are there more storms coming? We'll talk about where we're going in terms of radar activity the rest of the night. And we've got a couple more days to get through this storm system before we can talk about your Memorial Day weekend. We'll talk all about all that and more. And we'll try to have a little bit of fun, too, here in this Wednesday evening edition of Region Weather Live. And welcome into the show, everyone. I'm Region Weather Meteorologist Matt Wintz. Nice to meet you if it's our first time. I don't know if you could hear just before we went on, my stomach growled really loud. I did have dinner at work. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just glad that open lasts a little bit longer than expected. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well here on this Wednesday evening. I know we had some rough weather across Northwest Indiana this evening. I hope you were able to get those updates. One thing that I really want to transition to in the future, and maybe the near future after tonight, on Facebook, the way things work is Twitter works, because you get instant stuff on Twitter, right? That's instantaneous information. So if the severe thunderstorm warning and I tweet it out, you'll get it right away. Problem is, I don't like to be on Twitter on 18 accounts. I've got my own personal account. I've got my work account. So we don't have a Region Weather Twitter page. So I post severe thunderstorm warnings and stuff like that through our Facebook page. A lot of people get them later in their feed, and that's not helpful. So where I want to transition down the road, and it may be sooner than later, is regionweather.com. I can post an update on there. You can just go to the webpage, you get the update, you get that information in a timely manner. I played with that tonight. And I don't like the fact that people aren't getting warnings when they need them. All right. So that's just kind of my brain where it's going. I want you guys to be kind of in the loop with that as well. All right. A couple things. I want to say hi to you guys because a lot of you are joining us tonight. I appreciate that. What we're going to do is thank our sponsors first, though. Our first sponsors, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. They're a wonderful family-owned business. If you're not familiar with them, a lot of you have been by their place. I'm sure you see the big sign. A lot of you have dealt with them and bought your car or leased a car through them. And we've got good feedback on them throughout the last couple months that they've been our sponsor. But they've got brand new Jeeps. They have also got new Dodge Ram and $100 cash back offer on that in terms of the 72-month lease that you could do, or no APR on that as well. They've got all sorts of deals. Check out their websites, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Also Tiger Plumbing. They've been with us for a while as well. Their tip of the week, they give us a plumbing tip of the week, which I love. Know where your water shutoff valve is for your house. Do you know where it is? I didn't, but then we found out because Tiger Plumbing said it's important. If you have a water leak or a burst pipe or something like that, you need to shut the water off. You need to know where that is. Again, tigerplumbing.net for all your plumbing needs. They come out for free. And with gas prices, I think that's amazing. So there you go. All right. So let's jump into it. I want to say hi to you. I saw a couple comments on there. Cassandra, hi. JK, hi. Courtney, hi. Chris, happy Wednesday to you too, buddy. Mary, thanks for joining us. Sarah, hello. Hi, Readmo on our YouTube channel. Mark, hello. Ann, hello. John says, good evening. The storm is definitely photogenic going across Lake County this evening. Absolutely, John. Got a lot of photos in to our private message system on our Facebook page. So I appreciate those. Vicky, hello. Nick, happy Wednesday to you from Lowell. Derek, what a crazy day at work. Derek, I posted the picture on our page earlier. He works at O'Hare Airport, and the wall cloud you could see, they had the tornadic thunderstorms over on the Illinois side of things. They weren't big storms, but they were big enough and had enough spin in the atmosphere to produce several wall clouds and funnel clouds out of those. So he sent a picture. I posted that on there. Dave, hi. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. Kim, hi. Danielle, hello. Aaron says, maybe you ate bad peanut butter. That's the comment I saw earlier. So appreciate that. Hi, Kyle, Kim. Elijah, hello. Dave, you're absolutely welcome for the updates. I appreciate you as well. And let's see. All right. I think that's it. Tom, hello as well. And Ray, good evening to you. Teresa as well. All right. Let's jump into it. We've got a couple of things I want to cover here. First is where do we go from here this evening? So the good news is I think we're done with severe weather tonight. We had our first round go through. This event doesn't scream severe weather. All right. We've got a cutoff upper level low. There's some cold air aloft with that. It's not that cold though. So we don't have a lot of hail out of these storms. But you can see it swirling there. Areas of Kansas back towards Missouri. That's where the center of the system is. So we're still way out in front of it. But what's happening is there's a wind flow out of the Gulf, all the way from deep in the Gulf of Mexico, all the way up to the Canadian border out ahead of this. So there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. You felt that today with the humidity. The humidity is going to stay up tomorrow before it eventually starts to come down as we get on the backside of this low. But we've still got another day of some showers and thunderstorms to get through. But back to my point, this doesn't scream severe weather. This isn't a robust cold front coming in. It's not, a huge tornado setup or anything like that. But we have just enough shear in the atmosphere, and we've had just enough daytime heating that we saw today. Our temperature peaked around 78 degrees. That was just enough to bubble up these storms because there's a ton of moisture. And with that little bit of shear in there, we had some pretty wild weather around here, including some of the strong winds coming out of the jet stream that's kind of heading through here as well. So that was the main reports that we got, was that wind damage. Again, if you followed on our Facebook page and we're getting the updates in a timely manner, which I hope you were, we were following that speed max coming out of that storm that started eventually. It was down towards Indianapolis, and it was racing north, went right across the Indiana-Illinois border. So areas of Newton County got hit. This was all west of 65. And then as it got up into Lake County, the storm kind of started to spread out. We had this really strong wind, and that wind was pushing outward instead of just in one direction. So we had wind damage reports in Dyer. Lowell saw some rough action just west of you. Crown Point, St. John, we had gusty winds that produced some damage. There were a couple big trees down in northwest Indiana, mainly in Lake County as well. Those storms now are long gone. They're way up over Lake Michigan. They're heading up to Canada, so they can keep them. Next thing we're going to watch, though, is this. I'm going to zoom in for you real quick. This is what we have to contend with this evening. And by evening, I mean later on this evening. You can see this line of storms back in Illinois. It's packing a punch. There is some wind with that, but the general trajectory of that is heading up towards Chicago. And you notice how we've kind of cleared out here across the Hoosier State. How I think this is going to play out rest of the evening. This line is going to head north. It's going to gradually start to weaken. A lot of this activity is driven on daytime heating, but you can see how it starts to fill in as you get downstate and then down in southern Illinois as well. That may well fill in over the next couple hours just a little bit. And what I think we'll end up getting off of this are some leftover showers. I think it'll just become an area of rain. So we'll see some rain. This is still 3-4 hours out. So we're talking around 11 o'clock, maybe midnight or so. But again, I don't think we have severe weather threat rest of the evening. But tomorrow we kind of reignite some thunderstorms. I don't think the severe threat's higher tomorrow. I think it's a little bit lower. But we'll still have to keep an eye on some of those storms. But we're going to be on the backside of this low. Okay. So that's the radar update for this evening. Again, Lake County saw the most damage from this. There was wind damage. It was primarily west of 65 as you get towards the state line. That's where we saw that real chunk of wind coming down in the storm. We had 60 to 70 mile per hour winds with that in a hurry. And some of you said that it surprised you with how fast it came in, how fast things changed. And that is the world of weather, right? So where do we go from here? Let's look at some of the models and talk about how this storm system is going to shape out the next 2 days. And then we'll fast forward to Memorial Day weekend. We'll talk all about that forecast, and then we'll answer your questions as always at the end of the broadcast. So feel free to ask them, but if you could hold off, that way I actually see them because our feed keeps moving on here. So one thing I want to teach you about the world of meteorology. So we know what the radar looks like now, right? There's a line of storms across central Illinois. There's the storms out over Lake Michigan. Right? That's what it looks like now. We know that is truth, right? If we look at the modeling, this is the NAM-NEST model. This is right now in what the model's saying should be happening. You see, it's got storms all over northwest Indiana. It doesn't have a line in Illinois. It has storms all over the place. So as a meteorologist, what I do is I see, hey, the radar shows this, but this model doesn't have a good handle on what the radar actually looks like. So if this doesn't know what it looks like now, how is this model going to know what it looks like in the future accurately, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to say, I'm not going to look at this model because I know it's going to be inaccurate to some degree because it doesn't handle what's happening now. So we go over to the HER, which is our other high-res model, and look at this. This looks really good. It's got the storms handled across central Illinois. It's got the storms out over the lake. It's got this big opening of clear skies that we have, or clear air that we have across northwest Indiana and the region. So that's when I look at this model, I say, okay, tonight I'm going with the her model, right? So that's a little meteorology, not 101, 102 in terms of forecasting. If you're a weather junkie and you like to look at computer models, which there are a lot to choose from, these are the main models that we look at, but that's something you can kind of consider towards making a more accurate forecast. So where does our more accurate her go this evening? Well, you can see it develops that line. It does bring it through northwest Indiana. Again, just some light to moderate rain with that at best. I think that may be a little bit overdone as well. But bottom line, we have a rain risk a little bit later this evening. Severe threats over. So watch as we go through time. This is tomorrow morning. Still some leftover showers around. I think most of us will be dry tomorrow morning. It's still going to be pretty murky, though. We've got that strong south wind. And as we go throughout your Thursday, this low pressure gets closer. We still have that spin in the atmosphere that we had today, partially because the low pressure is spinning around, but there's a change in wind direction and height. We've got our south wind at the surface, so when you go outside, the wind's hitting you in the face from the south. Up in the upper levels, it's coming more out of the southwest. So up in the clouds, it's coming out of the southwest. So as that air parcel rises, as those storms develop and they become towering cumulonimbus clouds, it can tap into that change of wind with height. That's what we call shear, and that's what we mean by it. Is the wind is coming differently here at the surface than it is up above us. You also have something called speed shear, where you can have light wind at the surface and real strong winds up above. That's the change in speed of the wind and height, and that can create tornadic situations or severe weather as well. So tomorrow we have more of a directional shear. So we've got different wind coming from different direction, different heights. So you can see how the storms pop tomorrow afternoon. Much like today, it looks pretty similar. Again, the severe threat, I think, is going to be a little bit further east, but we have to keep an eye on the storms tomorrow. I wouldn't want to discount tomorrow, but we do have more storms. Best chance is going to be afternoon and evening, much like today. The low then spins over us on Friday. That's as far as our her model takes us, but you get the idea. We're still going to have pop-up showers, maybe a rumble of thunder on Friday, and I could see a small hail threat with some of those on Friday as well as we get some colder air aloft, okay? Then we kick that system out of here. So where do we go for Memorial Day weekend? This is a look at the upper levels of the jet stream, and this is a look at the heights in the atmosphere. I've showed this several times. You can see this little cutoff low, this little bubble you see across the country, across areas of Missouri and Illinois. That's this system now. It's kind of cut off from the main flow of the jet stream. As we go through time into the weekend, that's going to provide some cooler air on Friday. We talked about that last Region Weather Live. But watch what happens this weekend. This is Saturday. Notice how we start to develop a ridge. That's when you see kind of the upside down U shape. That's a ridge. Underneath the ridge, you typically have high pressure. You typically have warmth as well. That ridge starts to develop on Saturday. By Sunday, it really starts to develop with a Bermuda high off the east coast, a low off towards the west that funnels all that warmth up right into the area, and that's on Sunday. And then watch on Monday and Tuesday. This is Memorial Day itself. We really develop that ridge, and you notice how these colors become a little bit more red. That means the heights are building, or the warmth in the atmosphere is really stacking up and rising. When you have higher heights, you can get bigger cloud growth. It takes a lot longer for that parcel of air to become a cumulonimbus cloud, so clouds tend to be higher in the atmosphere. You also get a lot of warm temperatures underneath that, and that's what we're expecting for Memorial Day, for Tuesday, for Wednesday, and then there are some signs that it breaks down by later next week. But no cold air in the forecast, no cool air in the forecast outside of Friday into Saturday. It's just going to be a little bit cooler around here, but we really are looking good. So last thing I want to show you, let's talk in terms of rainfall, what we're dealing with over the course of the next week. Actually, 10 days is what we're going to go out. And I'll tell you, it's not much. Here goes the low pressure. You can see on Friday, again, we're going to have some tailing pop-up showers as we go throughout the afternoon. Saturday looks good at this point. The one thing we'll have to watch as we go into Memorial Day and next week is those explosive storms in the plains. That's what we're going to be dealing with. I don't think any make them in here, but models tend to not handle that too well. So you can see this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're still dry. And then that frontal boundary kind of starts to come at us next Thursday as it looks right now. So we're going to go dry forecast after we get Friday's system out of here, which is the same system we have tonight, same system tomorrow. Friday, we say goodbye to it. After that, we should go dry. I would be confident in saying all the way through Wednesday at this point of next week. So that's a long time. A lot of you got gardens in. You have, the new lawns. It's looking all lush. We may need to start watering by the middle half of next week, especially after some of the warmth we're going to be dealing with. But overall, I would go dry at least through Wednesday. Models saying through Thursday at this point. But again, that remains to be seen. That's kind of fantasy land. So that's what we're dealing with in terms of the forecast here over the next 10 days. Hope that helps you plan your Memorial Day out a little bit better. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask them now. And then we'll get you on your way here on this Wednesday evening. It's so nice that we turned the corner. I still can't believe it's May 25th today. It's almost the month of June. But guys, we made it. I mean, we struggled so much through February and March weather-wise. There were so many days in the 40s. It was just nasty outside, and we've made it. So please don't forget where we came from in terms of the weather around here, okay? All right, so let me see some of your questions here. Ash, I see your question on here. Watching from Valparaiso. Is there more rain coming later on? You're watching from Facebook. I appreciate that. And guys, we go live every Sunday and Wednesday. That's going to change, though. I've got a schedule change. We'll announce that in a little bit, but we've got one more Sunday together before that changes. But anyway, Ash, we covered at the beginning of the show. I'm sure you heard that, but there's a little bit of rain coming in. There's storms right now in central Illinois. Those will eventually come in here. I don't think they really hold together too well. So just some rain tonight. I think our severe threat's over for the rest of the evening and overnight tonight. We'll have to watch it tomorrow to see how those storms behave tomorrow as well, okay? Brenda says Rensselaer just lost power for a bit. Brenda, that was a story across areas, a lot of Lake County areas off towards the west as well. So hopefully you get that back on. I hope it's back on right now. Let's see. Mark says, since I haven't seen your Sunday, Wednesday forecast in a few weeks, does it mean all the bad weather we've had doesn't count? It certainly does not, Mark. This counts. Today certainly counts as well for all of that. So, yeah, let's keep this spring. The spring's gone well so far, and I really appreciate that. I'm sure a lot of people do. Outside of today's severe weather, we really haven't had a lot this spring. I don't want to say we're due, but hopefully we can get through the spring and the jet stream where you get the big tornadoes and stuff like that. Let's get this out of here. Summertime offers its own storms. We've had some big storms, even some tornado outbreaks in the summer. Summer storms can be bigger because the heights are higher, so the storms can grow bigger. But so far, we've been okay with everything. And thank you very much. Tiffany, thank you so much. You're so sweet. Absolutely. And everyone that says thank you, everyone that supported us on Facebook, I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. I just dropped my paper I was playing with, but I really do. Maxwell, yeah, hey, it's Memorial Day weekend. Pools and water parks opening this weekend. I know a lot of people excited. A lot of pools have already opened. I know a couple apartment complex folks that we've been talking to about some sponsorships. They have opened their pool already. That's a great question. So depends on where you live. If you live in an apartment and you're lucky enough to have cool people that open the pool, good for them for sure. Let's see. Jay's asking a good question. How does it look tomorrow between 5 and 9 in the Valpo area? What kind of chance do you give for thunderstorms to develop then? Jay, that's a tough question because they're going to be scattered. I mean, there's no rhyme and reason where these things are going to develop. I'd say we've got a pretty good chance I would probably pin it at 70 to 80% chance, which is pretty high for me, of a storm in Valparaiso sometime between 5 and 9 tomorrow. Just because we're in the same atmosphere, we're going to pop storms throughout the day. Low pressure is closer towards us. So I think we have a real good risk of some storms tomorrow. We could look at the models. We already did at the beginning of this, but the models aren't going to tell us exactly where the storms are. They're just going to give you kind of idea of where the coverage is going to be. But I would plan on rain. The good news about tomorrow, though, Jay, if you're talking about an event or if anyone has events tomorrow, I wouldn't cancel. None of these days are washouts, right? Today wasn't a washout. We just had the line of storms that went through, then we're dry again. That's kind of how this is going to go. Storms or showers may move through, and then they should be out of there. Just hoping there's not a lot of coverage on it for sure. Ash, you're welcome for sure. Mary, our humidity, that's a good question. We posted the muggy meter, I think yesterday or the day before. I'll post another one before the weekend hits. But in terms of humidity is going to start to come down on Friday. Once that low wraps around, the humidity is finally going to come down. We get refreshing air in here Friday afternoon, evening, and then Saturday. And then Sunday, it ramps right back up. And next week does look muggy. Next week actually looks to be probably the most humid weather that we've had so far this year. We had that little bout, remember, in early May that we had the record temperatures. That was pretty humid as well. But we're going to head back to that where dew points will likely be upper 60s, low 70s. That's air you can wear, so to speak. Connor, yeah, that's okay. Connor missed what I was saying about Valpo. It depends on what part or what conversation about Valpo. Um, Ash was asking if we're going to see any rain tonight moving in. There's some storms back towards central Illinois right now that will likely fade as they move in, but we may be dealing with some leftover showers from that tonight. Tomorrow, the question was, are we going to have storms in the afternoon? I think so. I think between 5 and 9, we're going to see some kind of shower and thunderstorm activity. That's what the question was centered around, was 5 to 9 o'clock. We could see showers and storms as early as noon tomorrow. I think we'll start quiet. But again, not a washout tomorrow, just more scattered activity, kind of like we had today. We'll have to keep an eye on it for sure. Yep, Ash, you're welcome for sure. Jay, you're welcome as well. All right. I think that's it. So I hope you guys are having a good week. We're almost there. 2 more days. We got the weekend. So stay strong. If you're working in a cubicle, which I do half the time as well. So I feel your pain. Just decorate it. You'll be fine. But anyway, we'll get through it. We got the weekend coming up. Obviously, holiday weekend, all sorts of activities. Unofficial start to summer. But you know what? Given the weather pattern, I think it's already started. But it is certainly going to feel like summer next week. Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us here on this Wednesday evening edition of Region Weather Live. You guys have a good end of your week. We'll talk soon. We'll have another Region Weather Live on Sunday where we'll announce some of the changes for some of the broadcasts and some of the content as we go into June. Excited to talk about that. And we'll go from there. Okay. We'll keep you updated meanwhile. We'll be on those storms tomorrow. Okay. All right. Take it easy, everybody. Bye, Maureen. Bye, Ash. Bye, Connor. You're welcome.